I don't know, I just, constantly I'm always praying that we do God's will in everything, every facet of our life, that we're just seeking to accomplish His will for us.
Directed prayers and seeing our prayers being answered. Literally shaping history through our prayers.
What can make us whole again? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes us white as snow. No other fount I know, nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, the blood of Jesus. Oh, the blood of Jesus. Oh, the blood of Jesus. It washes white as snow.
There is a coordinated effort, and part of what they try to do, particularly in this day and time with the Democratic Party being in charge of everything, they actually will have multiple things that they're shooting out, at one time, so that us on the other side are having to fight all of these many different fires, whether it is battling, the sanctity of human life issue on one end, battling for traditional marriage somewhere else, or even having to battle, as you mentioned, healthcare, which actually encompasses, if you take kind of the cover off of the idea of providing healthcare for all, you actually realize that it's a governmental intrusion to be able to dictate, for instance, and give money to, say, pro-abortion groups that will want to push for more abortion. So there's a lot that's uncovered if you really look deep underneath of the guise of just quote-unquote providing quality health care for all.
In 1 week, there are more abortions that take place targeting the black community than in all of the lynchings that took place post-Civil War combined.
Oh yeah.
There are more lives lost in a week.
Absolutely. I mean, some estimates in American culture since 1973 that there have been over 15 million black babies that have been aborted since that time period. Here in Washington D.C., which is has in many years led the nation in terms of the number, percentage-wise, number of abortions that actually take place. It's almost at 50%. That is to say that you have as many abortions as you do live births here in the city of Washington, D.C. This is the pinnacle of power. This is where supposedly all of the political solutions should be solved. In reality, basically you have a city plundered when, quote unquote, we project to the world that we kind of have all of the political answers. Yeah, and the more that we are engaged, particularly with technology today, I think the more that we can communicate the redemptive message of God in creative ways that draw people to Him, that actually can positively impact people's lives. The point was that government was seen to have very limited responsibilities, and the church, private industry, and individuals were seen as being the solution to problems. And I think that we've gotten far, far away from that in our day. It's easy to say, well, why don't we just have the government to do it? That doesn't really require much from you. That doesn't require ingenuity and business, ideas, the witty inventions that the Bible speaks of. I think that those are the things, again, tapping into the creative ability of God that all of us possess is something that is far more noble, as well as, I think in the long term, more beneficial for society.
Can you imagine in 1963, whenever Martin Luther King Jr. stood up here on these steps and addressed all the people? Why don't you just look? This place was full. It was full all the way back near that monument with people standing here. all wanted to hear Martin Luther King's speech regarding equal rights. And that whole I Have a Dream speech, I mean, that was incredible. The way he stood up there and everybody focused their attention on this guy, and to say what he said and to get the attention, not just of the people here on this lawn, but the attention of the nation. He is probably one of the most quoted speeches in the history of America. And to see the revolution that took place after one man stood and said, I have a dream. You know, what if this next generation could grab hold of the whole concept of getting a dream to bring our nation back to God? What if one person could stand and unify? What if one person could stand in their school, in their church, and just stand up and say, this thing can shift. America can shift. Things can change. But you know what it's going to take? It's going to take somebody having the guts to stand up and do what God said. Kind of like Gideon. Somebody's got to go up there and just cut down the poles and say, hey, something's got to shift. Something's got to change. And we are in a season right now, a season of revolution.